Good morning, my family. I'm going to take a brief moment of coffee time because we have a lot of work to do today. Today is the world of tomatoes, and before we get started, and I'll let you know what I am doing, I wanted to take a brief moment to try to explain a few things to you. A lot of the new folks that came into the family, first of all, much hugs and love to you. You're going to find the folks that came here were actually from a Mediterranean beginners group that I was in. Beautiful, beautiful people. And honestly, my heart was breaking. But it seems that some may have been complaining about my methods and my ways, that now I'm being monitored so bad. Admins are now having to make sure that my posts fit the criteria, and if it don't, they're eliminating them. So I have left the group. If you know and you have family and friends within that group and you enjoy this channel, please, I encourage you to share this with them. Bring them along, because nobody needs to be confused. I'm going to break this down as simple as I can. The Mediterranean is not a diet. It is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's a part of what they consider our diet, but people are turning this into an actual diet, and this is not true. The American Standard turned around and made a pyramid to make this a diet, and it's frustrating me. What is the American, or what is the Mediterranean diet? It is simply whole foods. It is simply foods that you can plant in your garden, that you can grow, bring it into your kitchen and create meals out of it. This is what the Mediterranean lifestyle is. It is, in the sense of it, leaner meats, chicken, poultry, skinless chicken. They don't totally eliminate the skins always. They will eliminate and moderate how much red meat, and not a lot of them, believe it or not, even eat pork, because it is a very high fat food. Now, for us, and it's sad because there is so much being eliminated in the Mediterranean lifestyle in these groups. It is totally unnecessary, and what they're actually eliminating is flavor. The Mediterranean lifestyle is so full of flavor, y'all. I only thought I knew growing up and learning the world about food that I knew flavor. I knew the American way of flavor, but I didn't know the authentic way of the Mediterranean flavor. It is, oh Lord have mercy, it's amazing. And it's to the point I do not want to go back to the ways that I've known for 57 years. The other part of the Mediterranean is processed food. We're talking box cake mixes. We're talking your frozen pizzas, and all of this is processed foods. Every bit of it. You want something like that, make it yourself. Homemade is far greater and better than anything you can get frozen in a box or in a can, for the instance, like SpaghettiOs. And no, it's processed food. It is not even a part of our diet. Should have never been a part of our diet, but it is. These are the foods that need to be eliminated. Yes, is it hard work sometimes? Yes. Does it take effort? Absolutely, because homemade is the best way to go. Hence the reason why I'm also a homesteader. Not only do I grow my own, but I make my own. But I will tell you, the satisfaction from that is out of this world amazing. On my body, in my mouth, and in my health, in a full area general life. I think clearer. I'm happier. My body feels, it's hard to describe. I feel alive. And so I'm going to keep presenting this to y'all. I'm going to be the one that says you can do these. However, I'm also going to be the one to tell you, follow your doctor's orders. My husband has a heart condition. He also is a diabetic. Therefore, he cannot have everything. He cannot have regular bread or pasta like some of us can. Now, I can, however, and I will get to that too in the Mediterranean life. So with my husband, I will be getting keto breads, or I will be making his low carb breads sources and using vegetables for his pasta because he cannot have it, plain and simple. Um, they talk about the pyramid, and in that pyramid is beans, legumes, and all these. Now, to a diabetic, on some of these beans and legumes could be very hard on their system as far as, yes, it breaks down slowly. It is a complex carb. However, it is still a carb that can spike a diabetic. Be cautious. Do your thing, no. For me, I am not a diabetic, but I have learned something about beans in a very hard way. I no longer have a gallbladder. It has been several years. Mine was removed. And it seems that I have a very hard time. My body bloats extremely bad, and I have a very hard time breaking down beans. It causes me to feel very heavy. It hurts my weight system very badly, and I have to figure out a way to fix this issue, or I will be totally eliminating beans from my diet. And that's what diet is. It's not per se diet for weight loss. It's an all around diet. So I will probably be eliminating beans from my eating habits. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try one other method, but if it doesn't work, I will be done with it. So not everybody can have everything. However, in the Mediterranean lifestyle, I will tell you, there is no limitations. There basically, in the sense of it, is no regulations. People are putting regulations on everybody, and when they have to ask, can I have this or can I have that? Oh, Lord, y'all, I want to chime in so badly, but I keep getting kicked in the head, so I stopped. I'm going to just come here. So here's the thing. In the Mediterranean lifestyle, from the beginning to where it is right now, y'all, there is no such thing as low fat. There is no such thing as, oh, Lord have mercy, marjoram and stuff. This does not exist in the Mediterranean lifestyle. The Mediterranean lifestyle is all whole foods. Again, I also understand there are people, and look, the way America has done our bodies by introducing the foods that we were introduced to unknowingly what was going to happen to our future has created havoc on our systems. Many are now celiac. Many are gluten intolerant. Our bodies have just rejected us all because of these chemicals. Now, for the most part, like I said, beans have become an issue to me. I lost my gallbladder. I mean, these were the repercussions I ended up with by following this American standard food life that just was not my friend. And I am going full back to where I should have been, and I am stepping so far away from processed foods, y'all, and I feel better for it. However, I cannot whatsoever get it totally away from it. None of us can. But we can decrease it by at least 85, 90%. And a lot of it has to do with doing our own thing. So here's some instances also on spaghetti sauce, which that's what we are doing today. And I will be canning it and freezing this. Spaghetti sauces, basically, you will find in some of these ingredients will be corn syrup, will be sugar. I'm going to tell you, in the sense of Italian, Italy, basically where the sauce comes from, they do not whatsoever add those ingredients. Bell peppers, they don't always add that either. I'm just going to tell you. There are ingredients in their sauces that were not strictly from Italy itself. It was what the American standard had put into it for flavoring. There's another thing. We could tend to over flavor our food and miss so many balances. A tomato is absolutely amazing. Each tomato has a different flavor, believe it or not. So I'm also going to teach about garlic because I found I was over flavoring my food, and one of them is with garlic. There is a way to also lighten and tone down the potency of a garlic, and using just a little bit to enhance a flavor instead of overpowering is amazing. I had lost some videos because my phone kept deleting it. My husband got me an SD card, so I'm really hoping that I could keep going. And in doing so, I am going to recreate and remake an authentic, not an American-made pizza where we know it's called the Supreme with all these meats and all these vegetables. Because personally, that has ruined the authenticity of a beautiful pizza that I had made, that it was to die for. So simple. Using homemade marinara for my sauce, a homemade pizza crust, nothing but pure mozzarella cheese, and some basil leaves. Unbelievable. It was holy smokes wild. And a little bit of Parmesan. I'm craving that pizza again. It was so amazing, so good. I never knew something so simple could taste amazing. That's your Mediterranean lifestyle. I'm going to quit talking right now. I've got so much that I can inform and talk, but I want to spend time at showing you in the kitchen and working with you, bringing the Mediterranean life to you, and I'm going authentic as much as I possibly can. But I want to tell you all, back to the pasta and the breads, one of the biggest problems, and here's what I find absolutely amazing. We will get these lists, these pyramids, these grocery lists thrown at us. But there is absolutely one thing that I am finding very, very little of that is one of the biggest and best things in the actual Mediterranean that is not spoken here, and that is exercise. Y'all, those folks do a lot of walking around. They don't really they have vehicles, but there are places that they have, they don't really choose to go into vehicles. They will walk. We as Americans drive everywhere. So, like I said, we joined the gym. I do walk. And you know what? If I don't get to go to the gym, I will go outside and I will walk around the block, or I will walk up and down my road. I will walk. Now, as far as eating pasta and bread, Italy, for instance, and many others, Egypt, Jerusalem, I'm going to tell you, they eat their breads, they eat their pastas. However, do they eat it every single day? Absolutely not. But when they do eat this, they will do small portion amounts. They don't oversize. American known, again, I keep stating that because it's absolutely true. We know supersized. We don't know portions. So they will monitor how much. It's natural to them. They don't pile on a big old plate of spaghetti and meatballs, to which we will be making, and I will show you how. So that is what I'm learning, and since I changed my plates to the actual 8 to 9 inch plate, I have been finding my body is finally getting adjusted to that, and I am staying full. Y'all, it's amazing, and I'm going to keep doing this. This is the reason why I am able to maintain my weight now since March. I stayed at 162 to 165. I feel better than I've ever felt before. I'm learning authentic, and the more and more I learn, I'm bringing it to you. Do I have a list for you? No, I won't either. Because there's no eliminating foods. It's just all in how you prepare it. It's all in how much you eat of it. And it's all on how much you will actually get active. Activity is one of the main things to help break down food. Anybody can do it, including a diabetic, because believe it or not, it can help control your blood sugar. It helps to digest your food better, because when we just eat, sit on our couch, watch our TV, and we do not get active, everything breaks down so slowly that most generally it will turn to fat, before it breaks down and we remove it. So exercise has been one of the other greatest things I had ever introduced, and I am able to stay fit the way I am and very happy. So I'm going to shut up now and let's go to cooking, because today is the day of sauce, and mamma mia, it is amazing. So I am going to bring it to you. Some of this I am going to be canning. Simple foods. That's all we're going to do, but of flavors like you would never believe. The canning will be very plain, and I will explain to you what I'm going to be doing on that. As far as the marinara, we will be doing this in portions and freezing it, and I will show you the very simple ingredients, you are not going to believe this, that makes the most amazing sauce that you can ever have. You will not find this in a grocery store. You will find what is assumed to be Italian, but I'm going to take you to Italy from north to south, same preparations of their sauce. So let's go. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. I have tomatoes everywhere. So right now, this is the sauce that I'm working on. Now, I've got a whole lot more to put in here. So what I have to do, this is one, it's going to be broke down over hours. I'm going to let this one cook. This is one of the longer base sauces. And both of these that I'm fixing to do, now I've already done the one, very simple, quick marinara that we're going to roast in the oven. Both of these are done in Italy, but both are used in different ways. This one can be canned, the other one cannot. So I'm also going to present this in storage. These will be the sauce being cooked down and broke down. This will be canned and water bath canning. So what do I do right now? I will make this easy. You can actually take your tomatoes and just pop them in here and break it down with the peels and all. I find, honestly, it doesn't clog up my mill too bad, so I'm going to actually take the peels off. Hence the reason over here for boiling water. I'm just going to I took the centers out of my tomatoes, and I'm going to pop these in here for just a few minutes just to break down the skins so that I can peel them off. Once they're peeled off, they're going in this pot and they will be cooked down to reduce. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these done, pop them in cold water, get these skins off, get them in this pot. I'm going to turn this down to simmer, and I'm going to let this thing cook all day long. So we will be right back. Okay, within a couple minutes, these peels just start coming right off of there. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to go put this in cold water because it helps. But it just peels right off. Now remember though, save those skins because it turns into powder. I'm just pulling them out of my pot. They took maybe 2 minutes at the most. It depends on your tomato, how big and whatever. But they did not take long at all for this. Now I just stick them in cold water. I will peel off my skins, pop them in this pot, and put another batch in. It doesn't matter what kind of tomato you have. You can have cherry tomatoes, slicing tomatoes. Tomatoes are tomatoes, and they all make a beautiful sauce. A lot of them will leave such a flavor balance to your sauce. You will never find that at a grocery store. For the most part, I'm using paste tomatoes, and I'm using slicing tomatoes, and I'm using cherry tomatoes because they all have amazing flavors to add to a sauce. And truthfully, that is the authentic Italian way. They will use whatever tomato, basically a paste tomato, but they will actually use all types of tomatoes. So we're going to get this round done, get these tomatoes peeled in this pot, and we're going to get this simmering. Okay, so what I was talking about is just take that, see how they just came apart like this once it hits that cold water, and they peel so nicely. Just like so, pop it in, and then I save this because I'm going to dehydrate those. Simple as that, y'all. And it takes all the when I have to go to mill my tomatoes, I won't have to worry about the skins. Plus, I have learned that the flavors from the skins, turning them into a powder, is absolutely amazing to add to sauces as well. So you can literally use the powder and make a quick paste. One day I will show that to you too. But in the meantime, I'm going to get my tomatoes finished and get this pot, because this is my other type of marinara or spaghetti sauce that we will be cooking. This one, however, will be a part 1 and 2, because this one will be cooking all day long. So I cannot wait to. Y'all, I've got some meals coming up, and we'll talk about that later. But let me go ahead and get this finished. Okay, so here's where we're at. All of our tomatoes are divided. Poor hubby. All of our, even cherry tomatoes. We got more that'll be ripening out on the plant, so I'm not worried about it. I used them all. I get caught up on my tomatoes. But this is going to be simmered in this pot all day long. It will be broke down. I will be doing a part 1, part 2 video on this. Part 1 is now, where we're just going to cook this down. So this will take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, if not longer. I'm going to get these super soft, and then we will mill these. This will be done in part 1. In the meantime, over here, I have the second part of our marinara. Sorry about that. I'm trying to move you gently. And all this one is just very simple. I am actually not going to be adding too much to this. I'm just going to take right at this moment, I am going to drizzle some olive oil on these. I am not adding any onions to this right now, because technically I had learned that onions are really not added into an authentic based tomato sauce or marinara. I've been blown away at the things that I've been learning, and I told you I'm learning authenticity for a reason. I also last year had froze some tomato paste. This is authentic tomato paste, broke down, rendered down, cooked down, and I'm going to be adding this to thicken up the marinara. When it comes to this seasoning, it's super simple. Again, I've done this one with y'all. This one will not be canned, so I will be able to do this, but I am going to use some salt and pepper. Sprinkle some salt on here. And this one is with paste tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. You can use any type. And I have an extended further information for those who are not able, like us, to get fresh homegrown tomatoes like we have. Next, I am going to be adding some garlic, but not a whole lot of it. I'm also going to show you how to break down a garlic to lighten up its flavor. However, it's still garlic enhanced, and that is it. So I'm going to be peeling this like normal. And honestly, this is how they do with their garlic bread too. It's something I did not know. I should have known, but you'll take your clove, cut it directly in half, and you will find that there is, let me get this to here, there's a center, it's hard to see this, I think. You see that where that knife's pointing right down this center midline here. Actually, you will go in here and pop that out, just like that. It's like a pepper. This is the rib line, the seeds, where the super hotness of garlic comes from. We're going to actually pull that out. And then I'm just going to take this, cut it in sections, and pop this in here. This is actually going to still give me my garlic flavor, but not overpower the garlic from the original sauce itself. I have learned that I have been over flavoring my food, which is kind of crazy, but that's the way I was taught. So I'm going to get some more garlic because I just ran out, and I will be right back. And just like that, that is it. I'm only using 2 cloves in this because I don't need to overpower it with extreme amount of garlic. So it's salt, pepper, olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic that had these centers removed. Now this is going to go in the oven. This is going to bake until it gets that charred look on the skins. I'm going to mix this up really well to coat all these tomatoes with this beautiful olive oil in here. This is the reason why it does not get canned, is because of the olive oil. But this one here has a lot of flavor. This one is the one that I use on my now newfound pizza. And oh Lord, I wish y'all, I wish I could put all 1,500 of you into, almost 16 by the way now. I wish I could put you all in this kitchen with me and we just have a sit down feast together, because if I could introduce to you what I was accused of, and I will get into that right now. I just want to get my tomatoes done. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hands washed now. Put this in the oven because it is now preheated and ready to go. 350 degree oven. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and I will be right back with you. Okay, so while we're waiting for our 1 pot of spaghetti sauce to render down, I will not be talking long. Like I said, I'm trying not to bore anybody, but there is so much information out there, honestly. And the fact is I'm super excited to be presenting this to y'all, to showing you the lifestyle of the Mediterranean. Now, I could not believe this. I was actually accused of presenting fancy cuisine that is unacceptable. Y'all, if you could see the amazing, beautiful dishes that come out of the Mediterranean. Now, mind you, there are areas of all Mediterranean, from Jerusalem, Greece, Italy, all of them, the street foods are not Mediterranean. These are not the dishes I'm presenting to you. I'm presenting you ones that are coming from homes, actual homes, where people are creating these meals strictly Mediterranean. I am not presenting you the tourism street foods, because there is a good and a bad, just like there is here, our processed versus homemade. There's good in everything. Now, will I present you a good homemade sweet every now and then? Absolutely I will. Low carb and regular, because everybody deserves a treat. Well, no, I can't say we deserve it, but it's nice to have a treat every once in a while. Why be deprived? One day isn't going to hurt us. And then we've got our holidays. We do 1 to 2 big holidays a year, and that's usually Christmas and Thanksgiving. And then after that, we spend the rest of the year behaving ourselves, per se. So I'm not going to deprive you, y'all, but I will bring you cuisine, as I was considered. There's an old way and a new way, and basically what it comes down to, there's the street food and then there's the Mediterranean way. I know the difference. I know the foods that are more authentic and those that are not. I know the foods where some areas are not as good as other areas. I am well familiar with this, for I've been doing my research. Where, like I said, where I'm going isn't the streets, y'all. Where I am going is right into the homes of authenticity that is bringing out flavor, and I don't believe anybody. I am not going to be the channel that presents you a rice cake and try to sell you on a rice cake, because personally, a rice cake, if somebody were to put that in front of me, I would tell you, what is this piece of cardboard? If it has no flavor, I will not eat it. If it's as boring as ever, I will not present it, because that is not who I am. I want to enjoy what I have, but what I am learning, I think basically what it's coming down for me, it's the Mediterranean is not something I am new to. What I am new to is how to present the flavorings, and that has been enhancing my whole entire way of thinking. And that's the reason why I'm presenting it to you. Again, let's take an American pizza versus an authentic Italian pizza. You really think that in Italy, in all of Italy, that they have all these meats, hamburger, sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, olives. You really think all of this is in an Italian pizza? No. Just like there is American tacos, which we had the opportunity, like I told you, we had authenticity. There is a difference between American style and Italy. Now I went and presented a low carb crust, which that is in one of my videos, and my husband happens to like the American Supreme. What I am fixing to do, because I do have leftovers on that pizza, and that is the All-American. What I am going to be doing is presenting you very soon, probably the end of this week. I am going to be making from the crust all the way to the toppings an authentic All-American Italian pizza called a margherita. And the margherita is basically the All-American pizza in Italy. So extremely simple. But when I ate this, y'all, I'm going to simply tell you, it was a craving being so simple I never thought I actually would love. It will take our American, all just plain sauce and cheese pizza to a whole new level. You think you know cheese pizza? Wait. Just wait, y'all. I will be the one to bring you cuisine with flavor. I'm not ashamed to do that because everybody deserves to have something. Yes, it's nice to have a Jerusalem salad with just simple ingredients of olives, or not olives, cherry tomatoes, parsley, onions, cucumbers, drizzled with olive oil and lemon juice. That is simple. But there is also more in other flavors that can still be all natural, just like we're showing on these sauces. You would only think you can find a sauce like this in a jar or in a can, but you never will. And that's the homesteader. This is the Mediterranean. This is the low carb who takes care of my husband, who has now since been on this meal plan, has kept his blood sugars between 104 to 115 at the most. His processed foods has been changed to he does still get his bread sources, but everything else is all natural. He has now dropped to 189 pounds, y'all. He was 243 a year ago. Amazing. So let me tell you, the biggest thing, like I said before, the one that's not being mentioned the most, should be exercise. It's highly important. And it's amazing when I get all these people policing me on how to do the Mediterranean way, they will not include exercise. So, but anyways, I will bring you cuisine. I'm not ashamed to tell you that, so be prepared. On this channel, you're going to know what flavor is, my loves. So, let me get this sauce rendered down, and we will come back and mill it, and I will show you how I'm going to do the rest of it. And then we will end this channel for part 2 on canning it and finishing this sauce up. So we will be right back. I almost forgot something. One of my subscribers had asked me a question, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. They cannot handle tomatoes. I get it because I have a hard time with beans. So, and they could not do beets. But it was something interesting that they had asked, is there a way that we can make a sauce out of butternut squash? Yes. And I will be presenting that this week to you. I need to get the ingredients for it, but there is absolutely an authentic butternut squash that is Mediterranean that I am going to bring and present to you that will blow your mind, I hope. So, I wanted to address that. So for the one that asked me about the butternut squash recipe, you had asked me, I've seen your comment, and I am bringing it to you. We will present you with a beautiful sauce that you can enjoy your pasta spaghetti again. So I thought I'd let you know that. That was a lovely surprise. And when you ask, y'all, I will look. We will try it, and we will see how this goes. So she asked, and it was amazing. And I thought, yep, you know what? It's worth trying this. So look, I'd love to know something else too. I'm a food connoisseur. I love to learn all different things. So if that one's coming up this week, just thought I'd let you know. Okay, so the next process, the ones to be canned, is we are going to go through a milling stage. Now there are two types, believe this or not. This is used a lot in Italy as well. Matter of fact, there are two different types. I prefer this one because to me it's more accurate. It's a little bit more manually involved, but because of that, I get more of a pure sauce, less seeds, honestly, than this other one. And this other one basically is a hand milled source. You put your blade in, you'll put this in there, you'll crank it, and I have tried both methods, and again, I prefer this one. Now, if you don't mind seeds and everything, you could just put an emulsion blender or in a blender or whatever else and just puree it up, and hey, you got it going on, and that's it. I like the more pure sauce, less seeds. Now, we are doing homemade through fresh homegrown tomatoes. Now, let me inform you, if you want a sauce still, and you're not able to, basically tomatoes, everything seems to be hard to find in certain areas this year. So if you struggle, if you can maybe find paste tomatoes at the grocery store, by all means use them. There's nothing saying you can't. Another thing that you can do, if you want a quick tomato sauce or marinara sauce, there is nothing to say that you cannot use whole, mind you, whole tomatoes in a can. Please make sure that there is nothing else in those ingredients but tomatoes. That will make an absolute same thing I'm doing, whether it's baked or whether I'm doing this way. You can use the can the same way. I wanted to emphasize that you do not have to go to this length to have an authentic sauce. There are many different variety ways of being able to have a sauce. It's just choosing the right ingredients and the right methods. So I am going to bring this pot over because it is cooked down enough where I can start working with my tomatoes and straining them through my sieve. So I will show you what this does. I'm going to situate this pot because it is very hot. I'm going to be taking my tomatoes from the pot in here, and we're going to be processing this through just to show you what it's like. I'm not going to make you stand here and watch the whole thing. I got to show you how it's done though. So let me set it up. Okay, my family, so here is what we do. I'll take my crushed tomatoes like this. Now they are extremely soft, and I am just going to, yes, I'm still going to get the juices. I want them. I will be cooking this down as the time goes out throughout the day to thicken this sauce. I have also done this, thickening it in a roasting pan as well, so, but I don't have that much this time, so I'm just going to do this method. So right now, I do have some with peels. They're not going to go in this sauce. I'm going to take my masher, and I'm just going to mash this tomato mix down in here. And I'm actually turning this to mill it through these little holes that are coming through here. And I will continue to keep doing this until there is nothing but seeds and skin. You will know. And by the way, I will take that pulp that I'm getting from this as well. I will also dehydrate this, and I will turn this into powder. I don't waste anything, so I will be putting this pulp aside. But it will hardly look like anything is left. That's what I want. I don't, right now you see all this pulp, but there's so much more meat in here, so don't waste this. Let me get a spatula to bring this down. This way I can get it to the bottom and keep mashing my pulp to get every bit of my tomato flavor out. And the seeds, once I turn these into powder, you don't even know the seeds are in there either. So that's why I don't waste anything. Yes. And then I will just keep pretty much pressing my pulp against the edge of this sieve to where there's nothing left to pulverize in this. And I will keep bringing this down. So you've seen I put quite a bit of tomatoes in here, but I will show you what's left after I bring you back and get this down and show you how much of this is going to turn into sauce. Okay, you saw the scoops that I put in this sieve. That's what's left of it. Now I'm holding this back because in the end of all of this, I'm going to pull this through again. So what does this happen on the outside? Do you see the pulp here? It goes down into my sauce. This is the remaining meat left from our tomatoes. The goodness, the sauce, the amazing flavors that we look forward to in a sauce. So this will be a very basic sauce. To be canned, there will be no salt, no pepper, no seasonings, because I will do that when I go to cook. There's a reason for it. I'm just basically going to can this. The only thing that will be added is the acidic that it needs, and that will be with lemon juice, and that is it for now. So I am going to go ahead and work on this pot and get all of my tomatoes pulverized basically, and I will be back with you, because this basically for now will conclude part one of this sauce, because the rest of this, once I show you what the sauce looks like, it will be rendered down even more to remove some of the liquids. But I will show you what the final sauce will look like versus the clumps of tomatoes, the stewed tomatoes that, let's see if I can bring this to you, that is in this pot now. This is all basically stewed tomatoes. So I'm going to bring this down to the sauce part, and once I get all of this rendered down, I will come back with you. Hi, my family. So that big old pot of tomato sauce that you saw, we now have this. This took about 10-15 minutes. It didn't take much. Of course, this is a smaller base stock pot, and I didn't have a whole lot of tomatoes. But now I'm going to take and let this simmer down a little bit, well, throughout the day, and get it a little bit thicker than this. This will give me a couple jars of spaghetti sauce. Oh, smells so good, just to be so simple. So I will be now taking my sauce and setting it over in the other eye over there, and I'm just going to let this simmer all day until I get it to the right consistency to where I want to can it. What did I have left out of that? That small bowl right here. That's it. So I'm going to dehydrate this and turn this into powder. So that's it. As far as making this sauce, I'm not going to add anything to it. This will conclude part one on making homemade spaghetti sauce though. And at this point I have the marinara inside the oven, which that's about to come out. I've already done the process with you. I'm going to pulverize that, puree it in my food processor, let it cool down. The seasonings I'm going to add to that, I've already got salt, pepper, and garlic. All I'm going to add now is just some fresh basil, and that's all. Once I do that, I'm going to freeze it, and when I want my sauce for my pizza, for pasta, whatever I need my sauce for, I can just pull it out of my freezer, and then this will be in my jar. So I'm well on my way to getting my own tomato sauce, and I don't have to purchase it from the grocery store. If, again, you want to make authentic based and you don't want to buy it per se made up at the grocery store, Again, you can get whole tomatoes and do this with them. Please, I kind of encourage you to make your own. Let me get set up and I will conclude the end of this video. I hope you all are enjoying these sessions that we are having in our kitchen, in canning, homesteading, making homemade, Mediterranean, all natural, yet flavorful food. So again, the basil, I'm going to be using fresh basil that I raise and grow on my own farm. I will also be raising some more this fall. The more I have, the better off I'll be, and even if I dehydrated it, it's still dried fresh, basically, basil, and I can use that in my food all winter long. So the more and more I learn, the more authentic I go. I'm going to be presenting them here. If you think anybody can benefit from this, I please encourage you, bring them on. If they don't subscribe, that's absolutely fine. If they do, I welcome them just as much as I welcome you to this family. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell every time I make a video so you'll know that I uploaded one and something new came out. I have, like I said, the holidays. I am actually looking forward to this. Y'all, amazing. So, like I said, I will be making bread sources. But again, no, they don't eat this every single meal. They may eat this occasionally every day, but then there are days in between. Some days there's no meat. Some days it's all vegetables. Some days there is no carbs, basically whatsoever. There is low-fat foods. The Mediterranean lifestyle is not a restriction. There is treats every now and then, just like any of us would want. The difference is whole foods versus processed foods. Did you know that if you like your Hot Pockets, I'll step out of the way and say this. If you like your Hot Pockets, if you like your little pizza nuggets that you feed your kids, did you know you can make your own healthier, whole foods, better flavors? Yes, you can. We can replicate a nasty food and turn it into a real food. I got grandkids coming for the holidays, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas. I may go ahead and make some of these little pizza things up for my grandkids, but it will be homemade. I will not touch it from a freezer. I will show you how to do that. So, like I said, I guess I'm the one that steps above and beyond outside. Some would say that I am totally lost it, that I have no idea what the Mediterranean lifestyle is, when really, y'all, it's not as hard as it's being made to. It's really not a classified diet like it is being under Weight Watchers, low carb, keto. This is a class of its own that is not any surprise. It has been around before Christ and is no different. The only thing that's become different is the American Diabetes Association, nutritionists and doctors have vamped it up to this diet. So I am going to deep into the land of Mediterranean to learn from them why they are the healthiest people on earth. And I will tell you, honestly, it's all homemade foods, whole foods, and they get lots of exercise. Go figure. So until next time, much, much love. I've got a lot of tomato work to do. I will see you again, I promise you, from Parton's Heritage Homestead.